The third part included this so-called sequestration that came from the Graham-Redmond haulings that they passed years ago as a tool to make things so bad that it would never happen. And I was assured that it would never happen. So I voted for it. Now the super committee failed and we're up against the deadline. And this sequestration is terrible. I held 5 hearings on how bad it would affect our military. Every military leader, from the Secretary of Defense down, said it would be devastating. The way you do it is on January 2nd, the OMB is now in charge, and they're going to follow that law, and it means that they just go down line item by line item. So mowing the grass at Fort Dix, where I was a weekend ago, and sending ammo to the troops in Afghanistan have the same value. Everything will be cut 15 to 20%. And again, it's just the defense side I'm talking about. There's also another $600 billion on the other side. And somebody ought to be speaking up for that. My job is the defense. And I've been fighting for a year to make America aware of how bad this is. And at this point, there are people that think we'll fix it during the lame duck session. I pray that they're right.
You know, I think that what he said, what Congressman McKeon just said a couple of times ago about how he's there arguing about defense and that's his job. It's not his job to argue about the other stuff. That, for me, told a lot, because I'm running to be the representative from the 25th District. I'm not running to be the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. And sometimes I think that that gets in the way of being the representative from the 25th District. And people here need to have all of their issues addressed and not have somebody that's just there focusing on one sector. I think that's really important. Now, you heard me criticize him on his judgment. And it's not just me. I mean, I've got Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, a nonpartisan group that puts Democrats and Republicans on lists, and he's listed as the top 20 most corrupt members of Congress. I've got Citizens Against Government Waste, called him Porker of the Month for creating this $1 billion slush fund that earmarks from last year got put into this slush fund now, so they could get around the earmarks ban. I wish we could put something about CMEX in there. We have this thing, U.S. News and World Report talks about House members lining their family pockets with political cash. He's on the top 5 in the whole House for giving his family money. Over $600,000 has been funneled into his family, the only legal way to convert campaign cash into personal wealth. And heard on the Hill on roll call, questioned his judgment about using government staff to investigate Scott Wilk when he was running against his wife. You know, that's not right. Center for Public Integrity talks about how before he became chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, he voted with the defense industry 25% of the time, and then afterwards, 100% of the time, his contributions increased by 444%. There's so many, I don't have time to go through them. But what I'm saying is that we have a fundamental difference on how we would represent you. And I want to go and be your representative. I want to take my judgment, which I've tried to show you here, and I want to bring that to Washington for you. Thank you.